everyone, it's Rambling Hour with Lisa, season 18, episode 12. And after this many seasons, you guys probably know that sometimes I'm late. But can I just tell you why I'm late? Okay, part of it is, yes, this area where I wanted to work, I wanted the bench to be clean and the table to be clean. So that I could have done before. I should have planned for better time. I was watering the plants in the front garden. Of course, I stepped on something that felt like a tack going through my right foot. And as I stepped, I didn't jump or anything, but I did something and put weight on my left foot, which is where I've had problems with my Achilles tendon. So then now I'm limping again to get things done. But so I'm doing that, and then I'm trying to get here and do this, and you guys know I've been having problems with my light, and I forgot that my light was broken, like part of it was broken and I needed to get a clamp. So as I'm trying, and then over here where I am, it's not level where the light goes, but it has such a big base that it needs room. And so as I'm trying to maneuver my light and it's top heavy, it just falls backwards into the pond behind you. But luckily I grabbed it and it was just the ring part with the lights that went in, not the main electric part. So who knows if but my phone doesn't actually attach to the light. So if the light burns out, it won't wreck my phone. However, yeah, so I had that and I finally got the clamps and the first clamp wasn't working. Anyways, it was just like those types of things. But I'm here, I made it. I'm, well, over 15 minutes late now. It's 20 after. So, I mean, I'm still going to ramble for the hour. Just you watch. I didn't print any books off today because all the books I listened to this week were physical books that I own. Where do we want to start? Like, I should just do, like whatever order I do things in should be the same every week. You guys want to see I wore this before, but... And into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. I thought it would be a good one for today because we're sitting over, it's hard for you to see, but we're under the big tree. Well, yeah, because the last thing I need to do is mess this thing up more. Under the big tree. I'll take you around. I shut the waterfall off so it wouldn't be too loud, but if you hear the water in the background, that's the filter. So I got to get out of the shot. As you guys know, again, I'm sitting here on the bench, the lovely bench got for Mother's Day. And if I turn you this way, the stream starts here and goes all the way down. And then here is going to be the bog filter when I finish it. I'll just tilt you up a little bit. And then that'll be like the dock where I jump off into, well, I have already jumped off into the wildlife pond, and then up you see the waterfall, and then up even higher the big tree. So this is where we're sitting tonight, and look at the sky. It actually cleared up. Like, there is some gray clouds coming in, but it's been pretty good. It hasn't rained all day, so I was able to do my work in the garden, watering plants in the front. I'm getting stuff done. I'm finally catching up. See, why did I mess with you now you don't want to stand up, which is the right thing to tighten it. There. I don't know if you can see any of the stream, but it is beside me going here. Yeah, so I'm starting to catch up with things in the garden, which makes me happy because like I said, we're going away for part of August to Ireland. So if I want to get I need to get my stuff done in the garden so that we can go away, so that it doesn't all die while I'm gone. Oh, this is such a lovely view. I should sit here more, especially because I have that plastic orange fencing around the lawn right now. As soon as we put in the door, okay, so I think I told you guys this, but I need to tell you guys again because I'm just too excited about it. Temporarily, until we build the extension on the side of the house and blah, 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 we're putting in, when we did our kitchen, there's like a little window, and we left that little window when we got new windows because we're putting in a door there to get into the entranceway, pantry, etc. But temporarily, we're going to put a door there, like an outside door, so that there's a way for the dog to get out of the house and us. Because if we're doing our floors in the living room, we don't want that being our main door where there's lots of traffic, me coming in and out of the garden with mud on my shoes, scraping into the freshly done floors, right? So, and then the dog and everything else. So we're putting a door in the kitchen, and it's on the side of the house where the extension will be, but I can put a gate and block it there so that the dog can be in this part of the garden if and when we want her to be. But she still has lots of room on the side of the house there until the extension's built to run and roam and do her business. So it's perfect, because when that is done, when that door is in and I can put a gate there, I can take this ugly orange fencing down from around the lawn. However, right now it could stop there because there's plants there, so she really can't get onto the lawn that way. But the thing is, on purpose, I made a little path right here that you can go next to the stream and get onto the lawn this way. So the dog could go this way if she wanted to. That's why the fencing goes here. So it's just so nice to take in this view, which I can take a picture of after. Well, it might be dark, but anyways, this view is awesome from this bench. And I'm sitting in the corner right now like this instead of this, because to be in the shot with you, although I can turn you. But this bench, can you guys see right here? Yeah, I don't know if you can see close up, but it's... So, I think I told you the story about this bench. It was Mother's Day, and we were looking for a gift for Steve's mom. Or was it Mother's Day? Anyways, it was around Mother's Day. And we were at a garden center, and he was saying about getting his mom something for Mother's Day. And I said, well, it should be something that's meaningful, like, you know, because she's 81 and you don't need stuff. And so I'm like, it's, you know, something meaningful, something that could be even passed down, you know, or just family oriented, right? And then I saw this bench, and I thought, oh my God, it's the oak symbol, like the oak leaves and the acorns. And that's like, you know, the family tree, the history and everything else. It's a bench. So, and sorry, this is, I was wondering if I should cut this off, but it gets nice pink flowers. But let me just tuck it away for now. So the bench, because my mom loves gardening, my mother-in-law loves gardening as well. It's a beautiful addition to her garden, and if she wants to rest and look at her garden, she can sit on it. And also, you know, in years to come, when it's passed down, it's a place to sit and remember the ones that, you know, who have passed and loved. So it was a no-brainer for me that was the gift for our mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, Steve's mom. So Steve got one. But, of course, because Steve spoils all of us, he got me one as well, and it means a lot to me. I'm still going to think of my mother-in-law specifically with this bench, that we have matching benches. But, yeah, it's another place in the garden to sit and think of those who have passed away and those we miss and everything else. And I love the oak symbol on it for family. So that is why I'm sitting here, and I have it here to look at the pond and everything else. I thought this would be a nice spot. All right, so you guys are far away, but if I do see comments, I'll let you know. I am in the process of getting the old Rambling Hours ready to go up on YouTube. So yay for that, because when I do a live on here, it only lasts for 30 days. Now Facebook takes it off. But yeah, so I will let you guys know when those are up, because it makes me sad. There's actually some that I wanted to go back and listen to. Of myself, like the ones with the ghost stories I wanted to listen to. And you know, I like sharing the Christmas ones at Christmas time and the Halloween ones at Halloween time. So I'm going to get those up on YouTube, as well as putting them back up on Facebook. I am in the process of that. Yes, I didn't forget that I have a big surprise that I'll tell you guys about on this Rambling Hour. It's crunch time, because there's people who need to find out in person before I let everybody else know, and those who are involved are on their way right now to tell the people in person, and I'm pretty sure they'll have been told by the time this is almost over, so I'm going to leave it for the last thing. And also, they aren't on social media, the people who are being told, so it's not like they're going to get word back that I've talked about it on here right away anyways. Everybody else can find out from me and from another person who are waiting to go public with it. But yeah, anyways, you'll understand more at the end of the episode. So this is episode 12 of 18. So next Sunday I may take a season break. 27th. So, and what month is it? July? Is there 31 days in July? So 27. So I know Tuesday's the 29th, 30th, 31. Say, if there is 31 days, that'll be Thursday. So is it the 3rd that we're here? August 3rd? I don't think I have any plans, so I might just continue with the next season. I don't know yet, so we'll see on that. So 18 seasons, 12 episodes basically in each season. I'm really excited and proud of all of these, even if you guys aren't watching live right now. Even if it's, you know, I don't always have the, you know, the most interesting things to talk about or whatever. And I am, oh yeah, so not next week, so the week after. So if that's the 3rd, then that's the 10th. So I'm possibly going to have a guest on the 10th. And I told you guys, I think already, because it's a book that she's reading. So if she's finished the book, then she should be able to be my guest on the 10th, but I might actually have more than one guest on that one as well, and we'll discuss the book. If you want to know what book it is, it's called Let Them. I don't have it here because I borrowed it from my friend Zena and I returned it, and it's called Let Them, the Let Them Theory, and we're going to discuss it in a few weeks. So if you have access to it, if you've heard of it, go to the library, get it, the Let Them Theory. If you've already read it, we're going to be discussing it in a few weeks. I cannot tell you guys how excited I am about Speechify. Again, I am not sponsored by them or anything like that. And I also understand that although you don't have to listen to things in 2.5 speed like I do, some of the words would probably irritate people, but I can take it in and it doesn't bother me. Like, sometimes instead of saying it'll say IT. Or when there's a full stop, like a period at the end of a sentence, it'll say dot. So, and what else? I'm trying to think of words that it says. Say instead of dead, it says deed. But there's just certain words that it might pronounce wrong. But when you're listening to it and you know what they're trying to say, it makes sense. So I can't tell you how excited I am about Speechify because I am getting through so many books. Now, I can always, if I like a book, if I love a book, and there is one in here that I think is better, probably better to sit and read, then I can do that. But when you don't know if a book is good or not, or you just want to know the information in it, especially reference books and stuff like that, then Speechify is so awesome. I love it, love it, love it. I've gotten through so many books. One of the biggest books in this pile I got through yesterday in one day. And I'm going to pass that one on to my little sister too, because it has to do with children. But let us go over the book reviews now. I don't know if I'm not going to give them to you necessarily in order, but I'm going to go from the top down. So wish me luck on remembering. I know. I need to start, like, once I'm done a book, I need to jot down some notes about the book just so I can tell you guys what I thought of it. But the first one I've already told you guys about, the first one on the top, I've already told you guys about. And I still have it on my phone. I mean, I think I'm going to listen to it even again because there's so much to take away from it. And especially because I'm into yoga and witchy stuff. But it's called Yoga for Witches. I just can't tell you also outside, like I've been burning stuff on my fire pit the last few days. Not today though. And then this hoodie, wearing a hoodie outside in the evening, the water, like I feel like I'm camping right now. So Yoga for Witches, I listened to it again. I love it. I'm learning so much about it. And it's weird how, like, when you read or listen to a book more than once, you hear things that are, like, take in things that you didn't the first time. Like the fact that the yoga that I do, I don't know where it is in the book, but the yoga that I do is, like, the stretches and stuff is only one type of yoga, and there's more than one type of yoga. So for those of you who've studied yoga, you might already know that. I don't know where it is in here to tell you exactly what type of yoga it is. I can't remember. Yeah, right here. Magic on the Mat. Magic on the mat. That's one of her phrases that she uses. Pranayama. Prana is life force that flows through and connects all living things. What others may call chi, goddess, spirit, or energy of the universe. We can activate and energize prana through yoga. When you practice yoga, you are opening up the body to allow this healing prana energy to move around your body. Pranayama is the yogic practice of controlling of the breath in turn our prana. Okay, so that's, okay, Durga Pranayama, 3-part breath. Brahmari Pranayama, humming bee breath. Madras. If prana is magic moving around our bodies, then madras are the spells. Okay. Yoga Asana. Just as you may use spell work or rituals to soothe the broken heart, release blah blah blah, strings of blah, you may want to add these moves to your ritual or use them for poses. Oh, Yoga Asana? That might be what it's called then. Yes, Yoga Asana is the ones with poses that I do, which I didn't do on Friday, so I have to do my hip openers today when I work out. Anyways, okay, find your magic on the mat. Yoga for Witches explores a new kind of journey, connecting two powerful spiritual disciplines. With enchanting effects, witchcraft and yoga share many similarities that are explored in combination. In this groundbreaking new title from Sarah Robinson, certified yoga instructor and experienced witch. Yoga for Witches shares exercises, poses, and the knowledge you need to connect to your own special magic and inner power. Explore how ancient yogis sought out magic, weave magic through spells, mantra, meditation, and yoga practice. Discover some of the goddesses and gods of yogic and witch culture. Connect to the power of the sun, moon, and earth via witchcraft and yoga. Explore the magic of the chakras. Sarah Robinson is a yoga and meditation teacher based in Bath, UK. Her background is in science. She holds an MSc in psychology and neuroscience and has studied at Bath, Exeter, and Harvard universities. Yoga for Witches is a treat for yoginis and witches alike. Uma Dinsmore, Tuli, PhD, author of Yoni Shakti. So, that one, there was something I was, because I have this Speechify and I can listen to more than one book, you know what I mean? I don't have to sit and read, I can listen to them. I am planning on getting through my whole library of books that I own, which is a life goal to read every book I own or listen to, just get that information in, right? Because again, I don't know if I want to get rid of a book or keep it if I don't know what's in it. But I also, for your sake as well, will try and make it, I mean, obviously I want to read books that I want to read, but I will go around to my shelves and try and mix it up a bit so we're not all in one genre for you guys. So, I thought it was this book that would move genres, but actually the one on top is the one I just listened to, and it is in the witchy world as well. But then it goes to a few that aren't as witchy, but I'm still going to go in this order. Okay, so the next one is I just listened to. It's called The Way Through the Woods by Rebecca Beatty, The Green Witch's Guide to Navigating Life's Ups and Downs. It matches my, wait, did I put my camera? No, yeah, my camera is on that side. The green matches my jumper. Okay. Discover your path through life's ups and downs with Green Witch Rebecca Beatty. Bring your troubles with an open mind and go away with the balm of nature and kindness. Maggie Brooks, author of Acts of Love and More. Witchcraft and poetry, magic and emotional intelligence. Rebecca Beatty masterfully weaves together 1,000 different strands, creating a powerful whole. Francesca Dimitri, author of the Book of Hidden Things. The best book I have found yet on magic of personal growth and personal healing. It is a perfect journey through the year and through nature to the self. Ronald Hutton, author of The Witch. A good book in every sense of the word, caring, inviting, and intelligent. Marianne Gibson, author of Witchcraft. Laden with compassion and care, it ripples with hope and is full of delicious magic and ritual. Jeannie Reddy, author of Wonderland. Will make your heart sing, weaves a magic spell of wise advice and simple practices. Dr. Vivian Crowley, author of Wild Once. It is pretty good. It's not too witchy, and it's it's good for self-healing and not just in grief, but any type of transition in life, which is another book I want to re-listen to too. It's called which you might also know the phrase of the Dark Night of the Soul, which is when you go through a darker period in life for whatever reason. Where do we take our troubles when things get tough? In The Way Through the Woods, Green Witch Rebecca Beatty, it might be just Beatty, but I keep saying Beatty. Rebecca Beatty encourages us to reclaim times of great change in relationships, work, and family, and in our bodies and selves as transformative, alchemical moments full of possibility. Drawing inspiration from the ebb and flow of the natural world, this is a must-have seasonal toolkit for optimizing your spiritual, bodily, and mental health. Whenever you need a helping hand, be it through grief or menopause, a new career, or finding your flow, this enchanting book is filled with nurturing rituals and wild magic to guide you onwards. Pause and reflect with The Way Through the Woods, uncovering a path towards joy and abundance, full of tender, wise, and rich invitations to pause and reconnect with the deep wisdom of the natural world, says Bernadette Russell, author of How to Be Hopeful. I'm just going to read about the author too. I already know somebody that I want to get this book for, so that says something about it. I did enjoy it. Dr. Rebecca Beatty grew up on Dartmoor, so she's from the UK, which gave her an early appreciation of the power and joys of nature. She has been practicing solitary witchcraft for 20 years and been an initiate of the Gardnerian Wiccan tradition for 15. A Wiccan priestess, she is acclaimed for her highly informed teachings of witchcraft subjects and the author of The Wheel of the Year. By date, she is a professional in a major charity with advanced degrees in literature and creative writing. I did really enjoy this. Part of the thing with self-help, though, is, and I'm not saying I'm like totally a pro at it or that I don't have any growth to do or anything like that. It's just that because of my depression, as we've talked about before, I've done self-help for so many years that some of the things that are starting to become mainstream for other people, which is important to work on yourself, to ask for help if you need it, to get counseling if you need it, and all these things. I've already done lots of this work or know these techniques because I've had to work on myself for so long. Not saying that it's not worth it or anything else. It's just that I'm saying that some of the books I'm not going to be able to take away as much as somebody who's new to this kind of stuff. But like I said, while I was listening to this book, I thought of somebody specifically who I think will benefit from this book, and I'm going to get a copy of this for them. So that is exciting. The next book is not in the witchy genre, but it is in the woods. It's called Last Child in the Woods. Now, this book is good in so many ways. I had to really think about where this book was written from, because Richard Love, I had a woman reading it to me on Speechify, but I can't even remember. Is he American? It doesn't matter because they do so much research in this book for Australia, the United States, Canada, and the UK. So there's references and resources and everything. Like, it's really great. The first half of the book was interesting, but I was like, okay. And the second half of the book got really, really even more interesting, and I really enjoyed it. This was a very thick book. This is the one that I read yesterday, or listened to yesterday, the whole book. So, what is it about? The Last Child in the Woods. Saving our children from... I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's nature defective disorder. And he even says in the book that he doesn't necessarily want to say that everyone's suffering with this, but basically that losing our touch with nature is part of the reason that some of us don't do well mentally, etc. We need even a houseplant, even just any way to get reconnected with nature. You guys know I have the rewilding books, and another one that I suggested to my sister Tina for her kids is, I can't remember what it is. It is a rewilding book, and I can't remember what it is, but it's again, it's for kids, I think, or like families or whatever, just getting in touch with nature again. I'll have to tell you guys what that one is. That one I don't own a copy of. That one I listened to on Audible, but I will tell you guys about it. It's definitely rewilding, but I can't remember what the title is. Anyways, this one, Last Child in the Woods, Saving Our Children from Nature Defective Disorder by Richard Love. The U.S. bestseller, a cri de coeur, I don't know what that means, cri de coeur for our children. Margaret Stead, Guardian. A cri de coeur for our children. Guardian. Camping in the garden, riding bikes through the woods, climbing trees, collecting bugs, picking wildflowers, running through piles of autumn leaves. For a whole generation of today's children, the pleasures of a free-range childhood are missing, and their indoor habits contribute to epidemic obesity, attention deficit disorder, isolation, and childhood depression. Last Child in the Woods is a timely and persuasive book which shows how we can improve our children's lives and the lives of future generations by opening the door to nature. Nature is as important to children as food and sleep. Much like outdoor play itself, Last Child in the Woods actively engages. What love certainly persuades us of is that in nature a child finds freedom and genuine creativity. Rosie Boycott from Literary Review. Its message is about connection to nature and the crucial part it plays in developing us and society in general. This restatement of a truth we all know deep inside has never been more timely. Tim Smith, Chief Executive of the Eden Project. That's the thing too, is like the way me and my family were raised. My uncles were farmers. Both of my parents lived on farms when they were growing up, and we camped at the lake for the whole 2 months of summer. And by camping, I mean like literally no electricity, no running water. So it was old-fashioned camping. So me and my family have always been connected to nature. My parents grew a vegetable garden our whole lives, and we had to play outside as kids. So I am not of the generation necessarily. Well, there is people of my generation as well who, especially growing up in cities, that are disconnected from nature. But then it gets even worse with the next generations after mine and such. Again, especially growing up in urban places where they don't even know how things grow or anything. And it's so prevalent it's so hard for people to understand why you should take care of something if you have never, if you don't understand it. So if our kids and grandkids don't understand why nature and the environment are so important and how it all works off of each other and how it is our lungs that keep us alive, then it's hard for them to want to protect it or take care of it if they don't realize how important it is. So I did really enjoy this book. The first half, sorry, might have cut out there. The first half was talking about everything that is going on with the generations now, how we're disconnected and everything else. They have so many resources and studies and quotes and stuff in here from different places and different countries and stuff like that. But also, then the second half talks about what's being done. You know, that not all hope is lost, and there is projects and different things that are being done to try and rewild people and urban places. One of the things when I would watch or see previews for apocalyptic movies or futuristic movies where we're in the future, the cities are so gray and bleak and not a plant in sight, and I'm like, if that is what future world is going to look like, count me out. Why is there not more green in the cities? And I have to give it up to England and stuff for being as old as it is as a society. They still have a lot of trees and plants, and even gardening in people's front and backyards, which they call gardens, is important here. Not to everybody, but to a lot of people. Like there is little patches of green and so many trees, and they have done a good job of not getting rid of all of it, whereas some places have no wild left. And I did enjoy this book, and I'm passing it on to my little sister Tina because I think she's going to enjoy it. And I already know that she's doing stuff with her kids because I know how we were raised and how we know that this stuff is important. But there's still things I got out of this book, and there's definitely things that everybody can get out of this book. So I definitely suggest that book if you... All right, the next one is called Ghostly Campfire Stories of Western Canada by Barbara Smith. I think I picked this up when I was in Canada in 2024 from Canadian Tire. Or maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was, did I say 2024? I think I got it in 2019, but maybe it was 2024. Let me see. When it was 2018. So yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, I thought this was good. You know, there's difference between, obviously you guys know that I believe in spirits and ghosts, and I've had my own experiences and everything else, and even unexplained things and everything else. But, or even all the crime podcasts I listen to and everything else. But if something happens to someone, like in a good story, or one that makes a good story, or a good storyteller, it's different how you want to word it. So I like this book. I think it's good, especially like for camping. If you don't have your own ghost stories to tell around the fire or whatever, this is a good one for all ages. And the stories are all good in a way that isn't like, you know, it's not crime in a way that's like not respectful of victims, or that it's not bloody and gory. There's not that kind of stuff in it. And the ghost stories are like, it's a storybook. Some of them are true, some of them aren't, but they're written well. I think this is a good one. And like I said, I could tell you the actual events I've had in my life where I've had experiences with ghosts, but they might not make the best ghost story for around a campfire or whatever. But yeah, I liked this book. I liked it. It was a pretty thin one, but it was good, and I would take that camping or around a fire and read it. Next book is another witchy one, but it's the last witchy one in the pile, and it's called The Comfy Cozy Witch's Guide to Making Magic in Your Everyday Life by Jenny Blonde. The Comfy Cozy Witch. When I started reading this, I was like, oh, I should follow her on Instagram. And then I was like, oh, I already follow her. I just got to go and check out her stuff more. So I have this one, and it says, sorry, these shorts just slide down all the time. One of the leading voices in witchcraft shows that it can be the warm, comforting hug you need the most, says Amanda Lovelace, best-selling author of The Princess Saves Herself in this one. Through spellcraft exercises, magical journaling prompts, delicious recipes, and DIY tips for the home and garden, the Comfy Cozy Witch herself shares the core tenets and practices necessary for novices and seasoned witches alike to develop a witchcraft practice built on magical authenticity, comfort, and self-care. Jenny Blonde hosts the Comfy Cozy Witch podcast, which I just started listening to, so I'm only a few episodes in, so they're her older episodes, but I'm enjoying them, and brews up magic in the kitchen, garden, office, where she's a word witch by day, and home. She lives in Pennsylvania with her husband, son, and 3 dogs. And the cover art is by Caitlin McCormick. Was there something else about this? I can't remember which one it is that I think is better left read. Like if I was to do it, I would read it again. It's either this one or the Way Through the Woods, where you want to work through the exercises and stuff that they suggest. So a note on the cover. Oh, well, that's interesting. This is from Caitlin McCormick, the author, but I mean not the author, the one who did the cover art. It says each flower, leaf, mushroom, and twig on this cover, as well as all of the lettering, was crocheted with the help of a tiny hook and cotton thread inherited from my grandmother. I love the idea of being able to use such simple materials to produce rich textural imagery, and definitely feel the spark of magic when all the elements come together as a whole. It's a kind of witchcraft in itself and makes me feel closer to nature, my ancestors, and the ancient urge to tell a story with one's hands. That's really cool, looking at it closer now. Yeah, that's really cool that it's actually threaded. knitted. What did she call it? Thread, tiny, crocheted. So glossary of magic correspondence. And of course there's recipes and stuff like that. So I did like that, and I do follow her, and I am going to listen to her podcast more. This is a big one again, and this is from a podcast that I listen to. I listen to a podcast called, my brain's not working, Common Mystics podcast, and it's got Jill Stanley on it. No, wait, no, no, that's not, no, I do listen to Common Mystics. That's two sisters that do a podcast, and Jill and the other one starts with a J too, but my brain's not working. I do listen to Common Mystics, but she just commented on the back, like, did a quote. But this book is by Nicole Bigley, who does, the book is by Nicole Bigley and Scott Guerin, who has a PhD, and it used to just be Nicole Bigley on her podcast, but then Scott now joins her on her podcast as well and helped her with this book. So Nicole Bigley, looking for angels. Oh, A Psychic Story. That's what her podcast is called, A Psychic Story. And I will read you about the authors as well. So I listened to a podcast called A Psychic Story with Nicole Bigley, and then her and Scott brought this book out. Did I do the... Okay, so the majority of people worldwide believe in the existence of angels. The author's recent international study shows 75% believe in angels, and of those, 36% indicated they've had an angel experience or encounter. Whether you are a true believer, a healthy skeptic, or somewhere in between, looking for angels, a guide to understanding and connecting with angels, will help you do just that. Written by Dr. Scott Guerin and renowned intuitive Nicole Bigley, this book shares the history of angels throughout religion, science, and psychology. In addition, detailed instructions are provided to learn how to connect with your spirit team. Through true stories, data and insights, and expert tips, this book is an invaluable tool for anyone interested in learning more about these divine beings, as well as how to connect and communicate with them. That's what it's going to say. This book is a really good reference. I learned so much stuff about this, not because this is one of my first angel books that I've actually read or listened to, and I'm not huge into angels. I do believe in them, and I know that I guess besides two, they've never walked the earth. They've never been people. They're a higher being, but I've never been into them for that to be my focus. Just like I'm not hugely focused on tarot cards. I'm not hugely focused on crystals and stones. I'm not hugely focused on oracle cards or whatever the thing might be. But I have, because of all those books that I got from Feathers when they were getting rid of books and stuff that I took pictures of, there is a load of them on angels. So I've been avoiding listening to them so far because I think I'll do it all together. However, this being my first angel book, I really enjoyed this one. Not just because I like Nicole Bigley and Scott, but it is like they said on the back, they give the history of angels throughout religion, science, and psychology, but not just any religion, like all the world histories and where they come up and what people believe in different cultures and everything else. And I liked that. I liked the learning aspect of it. So it wasn't just, I believe in angels and here's my stories about angels and everything else. It was like the whole history of what people believe them to be and what experiences people have talked about. And yeah, it was I really enjoyed it. The first few chapters are written by Scott. The next few chapters after that are written by Nicole, and then the last few chapters they did together. And I like the way they broke it up. I like the way that it was done, and I enjoyed it. So Nicole Bigley, for the last 23 years, Nicole Bigley has been transforming lives, including her own. At an early age, she remembered being in heaven before coming to earth and has spoken with angels ever since. which I didn't know any of this even listening to her podcast, besides the fact that this is what her book is called. She doesn't overly talk about angels again on her podcast either. So at an early age, she remembers being in heaven before coming to earth and has, I said that already. As Nicole got older, she realized that not everyone had the same types of memories or angel encounters and learned to keep them close to her heart. As is the case with most people who have spiritual experiences, you learn not to talk about them because people will call you crazy. After receiving an urgent message from her spirit team, Nicole launched the top-charted spiritual podcast, A Psychic Story, which receives millions of downloads a year, with listeners in all 195 countries. Now Nicole shares her and others' spiritual experiences to help them not feel alone, to help the next generation shift their vibrations, develop their intuition, and become more empowered. Nicole created a spin-off podcast for kids and teens, A Psychic Story Kids Edition. Her global podcast, Supernatural Matters, dives into the surreal, helping people determine what is natural or supernatural. Looking for Angels, A Guide to Understanding and Connecting with Angels is Nicole's first book with co-author Dr. Scott Guerin. For more information about the book, visit lookingforangelsbook.com. Each year, Nicole helps thousands of people worldwide with their spiritual journeys, teaching them how to connect with the divine and discover and lean into their life purpose. In addition to conducting intuitive sessions and creating content for and hosting her 3 podcasts, Nicole is currently working to launch spiritual courses and retreats and going on speaking tours designed to motivate and inspire others to find and embrace their truths. Discussions with networks and streaming services are also underway on several TV show concepts. To learn more about Nicole, visit apsychicstory.com or Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, or YouTube at A Psychic Story. I forgot to read this part on the back too, but Scott Guerin, PhD. The driving force behind Dr. Scott Guerin's life has been his passion for unraveling the mysteries of God, universe, and source, and the intricate tapestry of their relationship with humanity. A distinguished author, educator, and retired healthcare professional, Scott is committed to the exploration of spiritual development. With 2 master's degrees and a doctorate in human development with a focus in spiritual development, Scott's journey has been a remarkable one that delves into the profound realms of the human spirit. His popular Angel in Training series describes how society has begun to shift from organized religion to spirituality. Through it, Scott shares his own experiences over decades of pursuing a spiritual life, resulting in 2 books, A Spiritual Journey and 12 Lessons, that document his journey to spiritual freedom. His conclusion is that we are all angels in training, eternal, connected, and capable beyond belief. Scott's 23-year tenure as an adjunct professor in psychology at Keene University in New Jersey allows him to impart wisdom and knowledge to countless eager minds, helping them foster a deeper understanding of human psychology and spirituality. Scott's insights into spiritual development have been covered in top publications such as the Chicago Tribune, Population Health Management. Okay, hang on, let me say that again. Covered in top publications such as the Chicago Tribune, Population Health Management, Thrive Global, U.S. News and World Report, Real Simple, and many more. To learn more about Scott or take his free spiritual course, Where Are You in Your Spiritual Journey? That's what the course is called. Visit angelintraining.org or follow him on Instagram at Scott Guerin, that's Guerin, author. Scott Guerin, author. I remember, so while I was reading that, I got thrown off because I remembered with the Common Mystics podcast with the 2 sisters, it's Jennifer. Jill and Jennifer are the sisters. They have at least one more sister, but I can't remember her name, but it's Jill and Jennifer who do the podcast. Okay, praise for looking for angels. So this is just 2 quotes about the book, and then I'll move on to the next one. Looking for Angels is the definitive book on who or what angels truly are across all spiritual traditions and on how to call on them, recognize them, and work with them, even if you never thought you could. No other book on angels is as comprehensive or as practical. Katie Kuntz, editor of Unity Magazine. A delightful, informative deep dive into the realm of angels. Scott and Nicole guide the reader through human perspectives, angel mythology, modern-day visitations, and so much more. Looking for Angels is a must-read for those of us who are eager to identify and work with angelic energies. Jill Stanley, Common Mystics Podcast. So what Katie said on here is no other book is a comprehensive book. That's what I would say. Like I said, I haven't read any of the other angel books that I have waiting, but this, and there's a reason that it's that thick. It's so comprehensive, but so good if you want to know about the history of them and everything else. It's very interesting, even if you're not specifically, like me, drawn to angels or learning about them and everything else. I still recommend it. Okay, this one, I was like, I know the name, Ursula Roberts. I know that name. I already had something by her. And I remember now, or I saw that it's one of the ones that I printed out from Feathers that I didn't actually keep. And it's like a booklet. It wasn't like a huge book. It was like more of a booklet on spirituality and stuff. And it was by Ursula Roberts. But this is one of her actual books. And Living in Two Worlds, the autobiography of Ursula Roberts. What's really interesting about some of the books that I've been reading is, if I'm not mistaken, is it her who was something I read, and the woman was born in 1916, which is the same year my grandma was born, who's one of my on my spirit team on the other side. And I'm just, and so learning about like people who've gone through the war and that kind of similar age to what my grandma was is interesting to hear their spiritual experiences, because my grandma's not here. I can't just ask her these questions, but she's up there and I could ask her, but I'm nervous about it. But she says we're going to start working together soon, so I'm going to trust it, but I'm still nervous. So it's interesting to get some perspectives on people my grandma's age and their experiences of the spiritual stuff in life. So, Living in Two Worlds. I enjoyed this more than I did the booklet. Oh, and this is a picture of her on the back of her book. So, Living in Two Worlds, the autobiography of Ursula Roberts. I already have my glasses on. This is a rather unusual account of the life story of a well-known medium who describes herself as the symbol in the story written by Hans Andersen, The Ugly Duckling, which turns into a swan. Ursula considers that she turned into a swan after receiving an unexpected mystical experience, which seemed to stimulate her latent mediumship to such an extent that she has literally lived with spirits, as well as the ordinary world of human beings. Her search for an understanding and renewal of that experience led her into the Orthodox Church, then to a yoga group, and finally into involvement with spiritualism, where her outstanding talents as a healer, clairvoyant, trance speaker, and inspired writer have made her known throughout the world. This book recounts some fascinating psychic happenings and reveals some of the complexities which arise in a medium's life through contact with spirit entities. Those familiar with the teachings of her spirit control, known as Ramadan, will be fascinated by the account of the manner in which he first made contact with his medium when she was living at Eastbourne, near a place called, rather aptly, Paradise. Her account of the gradual attainment of the peace and passes understanding. After many doubts and a lot of soul searching, she gives encouragement. After many doubts and a lot of soul searching, should give encouragement to many people who are struggling to find peace in themselves. So this book came out in 1984, and like I said, she was born around 1916. So Ursula Roberts is well known as a medium, healer, lecturer, and a writer on metaphysical subjects. She has traveled to most countries where interest in spiritual subjects is rife. She has been to Finland, Australia, and New Zealand. Her talents make her a respected teacher and demonstrator. Her personality exudes peace and gentle charm. Recently, the National Federation of Spiritual Healers made her a fellow in the organization because of her long continued dedication to the work on spiritual healing. The National Union of Spiritualists made her an honorary vice president of the union, which For many years, she has held one of the coveted diplomas for genuine mediumship. I enjoyed it. I would suggest like getting it from a spiritual church if they have a copy, borrowing it from them, or a library. Yeah, but I did enjoy it, especially, like I said, of her time period and that. Okay, last book for the day. I have been wanting this book since it came out, but I didn't buy it. Another podcast I listened to is called Obituary, which I've told you guys about. It deals with just like that they find like funny or interesting. Like I've always read obituaries even as a kid, just because it's interesting to learn about somebody's life and what they did for a living and all these things. Like I just find like a biography fascinating. So they started a podcast, two best friends. They started a podcast called Obituary. Spencer Henry already had a podcast called what's it called again? Cult Leader? No, what's it called again? It has to do like, so he investigates cults and then talks about them on his podcast, and my brain's not working what it is. But then he came up with this one, the Obituary, with his best friend Madison Reyes. So I'm going to tell you guys about their book, Obituary, the big hot book of death. Now, I didn't know what I was going to be in for with this book because I know what their podcast is like. But actually, speaking of references and everything else, this is actually very interesting, and it has a lot of information about stuff that I've talked to you guys about as well, like different types of funerals, different beliefs in different parts of the world, you know, things in history. And let's just read the synopsis and see what it says about them. Yes, there is another airplane going overhead. Dearest reader, we're so glad you're here. We can assume a lot of things about you by the fact that you decided to pick up a book subtitled The Big Hot Book of Death. Are you big, hot, dead? None of these are prerequisites to enjoy the material to follow. We're just curious. In fact, curiosity is how we landed ourselves here in the first place. We, Spencer Henry and Madison Reyes, sort of fell into the world of the macabre, stemming from a long history of sending each other the most outlandish obituaries we could find. That somehow evolved into a podcast, and then, what do you know, a book. A whole fucking book. Excuse my language, but I'm just quoting. So what can you expect? A romp through death? You might shed some tears or fall into a fit of laughter. Honestly, we hope you experience an entire range of emotions as you flip through the big hot book of death. Because, let's face it, that's life. It's fun, it's unpredictable, and sometimes it fucking sucks. So allow us to take your mind off the mundane and into the insane. They are funny. They have dealt with their own losses and stuff like that. So they're not just, they don't come across as insensitive or anything like that. Based on the popular podcast Obituary, The Big Hot Book of Death is a smart, funny look at the American culture of death and how we're remembered. It's safe to say everyone thinks about death, whether they want to or not. But have you ever wondered about what sort of keepsakes you can make with your remains, or given any thought to the most scandalous deathbed confessions throughout history? Well, Madison Reyes and Spencer Henry have, and they've spent countless hours scouring the darkest corners of the internet, digging through newspaper archives, devouring documents, and picking the brains of death industry experts to bring you Obituary. A darkly funny and deeply poignant exploration of all things death. With chapters like Coffin Confessions, Executions to Die For, The Last Word, and If These Dolls Could Speak, Madison and Spencer guide us through surprisingly colorful history, traditions, and contemporary practices. These also demystify taboo topics with incredible and hilarious details, including funerals, 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 as they call them, cremations and themed funerals, famous body snatchers, and so much more. Shocking, macabre, hilarious, and moving, Obituary digs deep into the physical aspects of death, while also carefully exploring what death says about our humanity and the ways we choose to remember those we've lost. So go ahead, crack open the book. We know you're dying to read it. You can see the humor. I do like them. They're funny. What does it say? Best friends and co-host Spencer Henry. Oh, Cult Leader, but it's Liter. Leader, Cult Leader podcast. and Madison Reyes have a long-running history of sending each other the wildest, the most absurd, and sometimes scathing obituaries. In 2021, they decided to share their findings with the world when they launched Obituary, the hilarious hit weekly podcast. And it turned out the world was eager to hear it. Today, Spencer and Madison continued to podcast together and both live in Los Angeles when they're not touring the country to spread the obituary message. So yeah, check them out. They are funny. I love that they both have significant others, but they are best friends, and they're like an old married couple. They're very funny together. So I can't believe that has been like the hour, basically just me rambling on about books. But it is the rambling hour, and I do ramble. And if there was any comments, I would have taken those into consideration. I'm just going to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I know you guys know that I have a big announcement, so I will tell you guys that now before we go. I'm just going to have a sip of my pop, because you know how they do it on TV shows where they're like, and I will tell you guys, we'll be right back. Then I gotta go do my workout. So everything's going good with my workouts. I'm actually seeing changes in my body. I feel like I'm looking better, stronger. I am. So today when I'm done my workout, it's 5 weeks. So that's like 24 plus 7, 32. No, it's more than that. Okay, 7, 14, 28. Plus 7, yeah, 28, so 35. So today's day 35 when I'm done my workout of me working out in a row. So 5 weeks, and it's starting to show. It has become habit. I'm not overly focused on it. I mean, I am eating healthier and, but I'm not overly focused on it. I'm not making it something I think about all day long or anything else. Something that I have to get done before I go to sleep, and I probably would be better if I did it in the morning, just get it out of the way, but I've still been doing it. It's become a habit. It's just something I know I got to do. It doesn't take that long, but because I've just done it every day and it's just part of my day, it just has become, like I said, a habit. Oh, in one of the books it talked about that, the difference between a habit and a ritual. And I thought it was a really good descriptor of it, that a habit is something you do without thinking, and a ritual is something that you do with intention in the present moment. You know what I mean? So if you brush your teeth every night before you go to bed, it's become such a habit that you don't even think about it. You just go, you brush your teeth, and But if you have a ritual before bed where you purposely wash your face with a nice type of cleanser, and you're thinking about washing away the negativity of your day, and you brush your teeth, and you're doing things with intention, so that is the difference between a ritual and a habit. And I liked that. When I do my yoga, I'm trying to make that a ritual where I'm focused on, I don't listen to headphones, I listen to what he's saying, go in my body, doing the stretches, doing everything he says as a ritual. When I'm doing my workouts, my 30-day shred, it's more of a habit right now because I put headphones on and listen to something else and kind of listen to her when I have to change poses, but I'm going through the routine and the motions and everything else, so I'm still doing the work. But I think it's important that I probably focus on the workouts as well, where I'm in the moment, and that's what I'm only focused on, is doing the workout. Still giving it all my might and working out hard, but yeah, so I liked that definition or the differentiation between a ritual and a habit, so I'm going to keep that. So you guys are just waiting for the big announcement. Oh yeah, so I went on the spiritual thing, my spirit team, meditation. I tell you guys about my grandma all the time, my mom's mom, Georgiana Elizabeth Malone Ni Pote. She was born in 1916. She died when she was 80 in 1996, 2 weeks after her 80th birthday. And she lived with my family from when I was 2 until I was about 15 or something. She went into a home for a few years before she died. So she died when I was 18. So growing up, Grandma was just part of our family, literally, like in our house, in our family. So very close to Grandma that way. And then after she passed away, I always like felt her around. I never didn't feel her around, but once I started getting into the spiritual stuff and everything, I realized she's like part of my spirit team. Whenever I do my meditations, she's standing at the bench that I go to, waiting there. It's not a bench like this. It's like the one I have over in the corner, my meditation bench. It's like a white curved bench with like just like no back or anything. Anyways, Grandma. So Grandma is the one that I told you in my meditations and stuff. She says that we're going to be working together soon, which is exciting. That's what I told you guys about my brother passing away, is how heartbreaking and sad that is. The curious part of me is wondering if my brother, as he's gone so soon in life and so young, if there's any work that him and I are going to be doing from him on the other side and me here. But right now, the focus is on Grandma. So, Grandma. My Auntie Dale, my mom's sister, who's 2 years older than my mom, told me when I started this spiritual journey in like 2012, she told me that my grandma had abilities as well. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah, but she wasn't allowed to talk, to practice them. And my grandma's told me that from the other side as well, that she loves the journey I've gone on and that I'm able to just talk about these things, because growing up really Christian, Catholic, and stuff like that, she wasn't able to just be out there with her own experiences and be as open and honest as I can be. So she's very happy that I get to take this journey. So yeah, Auntie Dale told me that Grandma had those abilities, and I believe that she said that her mom, great grandma Aurora, had abilities as well. Anyways, this isn't about the spiritual side of my grandma. This is about something else. It's about the lives that we live here and the things that we do. So I always knew, even when Grandma was alive, that Grandma's side of the family, the Malone side and everything, was a family of secrets. That's what they would say. Some of the secrets were that, well, I don't know if it was a secret that my mom's oldest brother, Uncle Bob, so I'm just going to tell you in the order that I know it. And even if these things came out later, this is how it happened. So my grandma there was 3 sisters and 3 brothers, and they were going to get married. I don't think they got married on the same day, but 3 sisters, 3 brothers. 2 of the sisters married the 2 brothers, happy as can be, stayed together forever. My grandma with the 1 brother, my grandma was already pregnant from this brother. He married her. He left her on her wedding day after he married her, moved back to England, because that's where the brothers were from originally, but this was in Canada, moved back to England, and actually he died it wasn't even a year later. He died after he moved back to England. So the 2 stories that we knew growing up was that either Grandma was left at the altar or that he had died. But either way, my grandma had a son of my Uncle Bob, the oldest, and no husband. Turns out they did get married, so he did die, but he left her before he died. So my grandma was alone, single, 19, with a son, and this was like, if she was born in 1916, and she was 19, so 1935. So being a single woman then with a son, I mean, that's not ideal. However, as far as we know, the story goes that John Malone was, the story goes that Grandma was a mail order bride, and John Malone was willing to adopt her son as his own. So that's how they got together. Whether that's true or they actually met some other way and fell in love, I don't know. But as far as the story goes, John had a mail order bride, which was my grandma, and he was willing to adopt her son. So they got married, and they had children together. So they had Molly, and then Dan, and I think it might have been after that Joan was born, but Joan only lived not even 2 years. And again, after Joan died, no one was. I do have an Auntie Joan on my dad's side. My dad has a little sister named Auntie Joan who's lived till adulthood and is still alive. but this is on my mom's side. So Joan lived not even till she was 2 and passed away. But I guess after Joan passed away, no one was allowed to talk about her. And then they had Uncle Ronnie, and then my Auntie Dale, who's 2 years older than my mom. So there was 4 of them, and I believe Uncle Ronnie might have been a twin, but the twin wasn't fully developed, so, and was, you know, passed away at birth because it wasn't fully developed. One of them was a twin. So Uncle Bob, then 4 more kids from John that lived, and then when John was dying of colon cancer in 1949, my grandma got pregnant and had a baby in December of 1949, which was my mom. However, when my mom was in her 50s, she found out that John was not her biological mom, and that, and again, we're not judging my grandma because we don't know the story. We don't know if, like I said, was she a mail order bride, and her and John had an understanding. They parented together, they had a good life together and everything else. But maybe this person who is the biological father of my mom maybe it was a one-night stand, maybe it was the love of her life. We don't know the story, but either way, my mom has a different biological dad than her 4 older siblings, but my grandma is the mom to all of these babies. So that, for me growing up, like, and also speaking to John Malone on the other side, when Steve, my husband, did a reading for my mom, John always considers himself the dad. He's been watching over my mom from the other side, and that's who her dad is, even if not biologically. So our DNA, my mom and little sister Tina did their DNA a few years ago, and we do have a last name for the biological person that my mom would be related to. However, we haven't really looked up who he is or anything like that. So, going on with the story, a few weeks ago now, or over a month ago now, I can't remember exactly what day. Oh, so the 20th of June, I believe, the 20th of June. So yeah, just over a month ago, I went on Ancestry.com, Ancestry.ca, Ancestry.uk, whatever. I went on Ancestry, and I was looking up for me and Steve to get DNA kits to do our DNA, but I wanted to do it through Ancestry, whereas my little sister and my mom did it through 23andMe. I wanted to do it through Ancestry because I wanted to put it on there because I'm building the family trees there and everything else, right? So to make it easier to do it through there. And I've wanted to do my DNA because I'm excited, especially even though my little sister did hers. I think it's so cool how, like, you get 50% of your DNA from your mom, 50% of your DNA from your dad, but you can get different parts. So I can have more of something than Tina does. And that's why, like, Tina and my other siblings, like, Tina looks more Scottish Irish than I do, or like she has the auburn hair and she's taller and all these things, because you get, even though you get 50% from your mom and 50% from your dad, you get different genetics, and that's why you look different. So I did my DNA, and it's come back. Steve's still waiting for his, which is really weird that his isn't done yet. Sorry to tell you guys, I'm 57% French, mostly from my mom's side, and the only thing that I got from my mom was a lot of French, and I got Sardinia, a little bit of Sardinia, I believe, is on my mom's side. And then on my dad's side, I got more French, and then some Irish, some Scottish, some Icelandic, and some other European countries, and a little bit of Spain, which is interesting, like 1% Spain, I think. So, and something else, I can't remember, but anyways, so I'm basically European, ancestral, and mostly French, which is cool. That's fine with me. Where am I going with all this? So I got a message before I got my DNA results, but the day that I went on, June 20th, I went on Ancestry to look up to get DNA kits and whatever, and I saw in my messages, which reminds me, there's some other messages that I need to get back to too about some of my family trees. But on the messages, I got a message from someone who said, hi, I noticed someone on your tree that you added photos of, a lady on your tree that you've added photos of. Her name is Georgiana Cote, and I believe that she's my dad's mom. So I'm like, okay, so your dad's mom. So if grandma was your dad's mom, that would make you my cousin. But we know whose grandma's kids are because I just explained them to you, who my grandma's kids were. And we knew all of them. So then we were like, okay, well, maybe before she had Uncle Bob, she had a baby and gave it up for adoption. She was 19 when she had Uncle Bob, but maybe she had one before then and gave it up for adoption and we didn't know. And then, so I was talking to this girl, her name is Jennifer, and asking about her dad and everything else. Her dad is named Joe, and he's 70. My mom is the youngest. She's the baby, and she's 75. She'll be 76. So then we're like, wait, no, that means that after grandma had all her kids, she had a baby and gave it up for adoption. Wouldn't people have known, like, wouldn't the older siblings have realized she was pregnant? And like, this is, okay, so then me and Jennifer are like putting the clues together. The paper that she got with her dad's adoption, he was born and adopted in Alberta, but then they moved to the States, the United States, and he's had a good life and everything. He has an adopted sister as well. They've had a good life and everything else, but he was just curious to who his adoptive parents were. They found his adoptive dad, and they know some stuff about him. Again, he was made and born and adopted in Alberta. The description of the mom on the paper, a lady, 5'7", farmer's wife, or widowed, like all the details was like, yeah, that totally sounds like grandma, like my grandma. But this is just interesting. Like, we'll have to see. And we looked at some of the people that Jennifer already had, because her and her dad had already done their DNA on Ancestry, which is what part of how she found me, but then the pictures and everything else. So she had some links that it was like, well, if you're linked to those cousins, like second, third cousins, and then like the way that makes it like this, that would make it that it seems like the more we looked into it, the more this seemed like it could actually be something true. So then I got my DNA results, and Jennifer messaged me before I even knew my DNA results were in, because it came up on hers that she had another match on Ancestry, and it turns out me and Jennifer are first cousins. And I was hoping to have her on today to tell you guys this, but she is very busy, and she's going to be my guest on a future episode. She's actually one of the ones that's hopefully going to be on for the Just Let Them theory book review type thing. Anyways, what I'm trying to tell you, the big news is that after 70 years for Joe and 75 years for my mom and her siblings, after 70 years, Joe gets to find out who his biological mom is, and it's confirmed. And I'm so excited to send videos, like home videos, because she grew up, she lived in the house while I was growing up, and my dad had a video camera, so sending videos and stuff of my grandma so that he can see who his biological mama is, and letting him know just all, because she was a great lady, and we cannot judge why she gave up a baby. Like I said, she had 6 kids that she was trying to raise by herself. She had already lost 2 husbands. They were poor. She was working. The last thing she could do is take care of another baby. Plus, again, we don't know the circumstances of how that baby was made or anything like that. So we will not judge that she gave up a baby for adoption. And I'm so grateful that Joe had a great life. That's all you can ask for when you give up a baby, or, you have to make decisions like that, is that you hope it's the best thing that you're doing for them. Jennifer has 2 sisters. So I have an Uncle Joe and an Aunt Sue, I believe, Sue, and then 3 sisters, like 3 cousins. And of course it's the 3 girls, right? I told you, like me and my 2 sisters, there's the 3 girls, and then my mom is one of 3 girls, and then my grandma was one of 3 girls, and you need 3 to start a coven, and now all the spiritual stuff and everything else. So Uncle Joe, when Tina, my little sister Tina and Melody know. So my mom has gone to see my Uncle Ron to tell him, because there's only 3 of the, oh, Jen's watching right now. Jen, I don't know if you just started watching, but I am talking about it all. I'm almost done talking about it. So there's only 3 living siblings, is my mom, Uncle Ron, and my Auntie Dale. My mom wanted to talk to Uncle Ron in person about it, just in case he remembers my grandma being pregnant at the time and giving away a baby or whatever. So Tina and Mom have gone to see Uncle Ron to tell him right now. So hopefully, you know, they've talked to him before I put this out. But none of my cousins know yet. And this is just that. So I'm going to put it on here and I'm going to leave it like this for whoever's watching or sees this. However, then I'm going to do a write-up thing that I did about basically all the stuff I just told you guys. And I'm going to post that for cousins and everything else. But the two siblings were more important to tell in person and to let them know. But yeah, so after 75 years for Mom, she is not the baby. She has a little brother and she's quite excited about that. So when Tina asked her what she thought about going to the States to meet him, because Joe and Jennifer, like, they're absolutely wanting to meet family and stuff, Mom said, yeehaw! So a road trip for them. So I'm really excited. Mom is really excited about this turn of events in life. And I think it's the perfect distraction and something to come up after my brother's passing, because it's hard enough for me to lose a brother, but for my mom to lose a son is devastating. But she gained a brother now, and I just love that Joe and Mom get to, you know, that they're both still alive to see this moment. And I can't wait to share with Joe and his girls and Sue, like, just share how much of Grandma that we know, because Grandma was a great lady. And I'm just, again, I'm so blessed that I'm so grateful that Joe had a good life too, because it makes all the difference. But that is my big news, is that I have an Uncle Joe, and that my grandma had a baby that she gave up for adoption, and all of it's coming together now. So new family. So if you see, Jen, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but let me try it. It's Dinius. So Jen Denies. Let's say Denies. I don't know. You have to tell me how to pronounce it. Denies? I don't know. That's her married name though. So, and the Biedermans is Joe's last name. I'm just really excited about new family, and me and Jennifer, now we can tell everybody and introduce the new cousins and everything else. So yay. She said Dinius. Denius. Is it Denius? I actually like that. Denius. If I'm pronouncing it right, I like the way that sounds. Denius. So yeah, I am like over the hour now, and I really need to use the facilities. She said yes. Oh, I like that, Denius. I think that sounds cool. So, that is our big news. And Jen, because I know you've had a busy day and everything else, so if you don't look like you want to be on camera or anything like that, we can do it another day with the just let them theory or whatever. But if you want to come on camera for a few minutes, just introduce yourself, you're welcome to do that. Are you ready to do that, or do you want to do it a different day? Just let me know in the comments. And she also said perfect when I pronounced it, I think she's referring to. Yes, other than that, we're good for the day. I'll just give her a moment to respond. Okay, she said, let's go with the let them theory date. Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine, because I really need to go pee. So, yeah, everybody, that is the big news. Very exciting news. I think it's going to be interesting for a lot of the cousins and everything else. Oh my gosh, she said it's 100 degrees here. I'm gross. It is not here. It's getting chilly now that it's darker out, but I can imagine in the heat. That's what I was thinking, because I know you've been working and doing lots of stuff, so I can imagine what I look like on a normal day, and it's not like this. Like, I showered just so that my hair looked nice for my live, but this is not what I normally look like. Anyways, guys, exciting news, and new cousins and everything else. I'm very excited about this, and I love the universe and how things work, and looking forward to getting to know our new family. And it's overwhelming for them, because he has his biological dad's side and now his biological mom's side. And so for us, it's only like 5 new people, really, plus their kids or whatever. But for them, it's like hundreds of new people, right? But it's just very exciting. So yeah, I look forward to having Jennifer on and and letting you guys know more about what else comes out. I knew it was a family of secrets, but I never judged it as a negative family of secrets. It was never a type of family where it did anything to hurt or harm other people. It was just a different time when things happened. So here we go. Ancestry is very interesting, and so many secrets are revealed through DNA. All right, I love you guys. We will see you guys maybe next Sunday, unless I take my season break for 1 week. Otherwise, if we don't see you next Sunday, we will see you on the 7th, and that might be the Just Let Them Theory day. We will see. All right, I love you guys. Enjoy your summer, because it's very fleeting. By the time I see you guys, it'll definitely be August. So, yes. All right, I love you guys, and we'll see you later.